So I'm usually a pretty big wuss when it comes to horror movies, but I know there's a lot of great films in this genre, so I'm trying to be brave and branch out and watch some of them. So today I'm going to watch the 1959 film House on Haunted Hill. I know Vincent Price is in it. I've seen House of Wax. You can check out that reaction video as well, but I know he has a long filmography, is an icon in the horror genre industry, so I'm very excited to see another one of his films. I don't know any other cast members, the director, anything like that. I'm guessing it'll be a haunted house on a hill. That's my only real prediction. I know there's a remake. I haven't seen that either, but comment below if you think I should watch that. But thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Oh my god. That's an intense way to start a movie.
Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it.
Oh god.
There, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
This is terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. If I had seen this in, like, the theaters, I would have been scared. Oh, Vincent.
She's so amusing. There'll be food and drink and ghosts.
Sounds like a perfect evening. Oh my.
I'll give you each $10,000. Or your next of kin in case you don't survive.
Oh god.
Ah, but here come our other guests.
So he's paying people to spend the night at this haunted house.
Starting now. And you have until midnight to find the house on Haunted Hill.
Oh my god. I love it. I'm so excited to see where this is gonna go. And this concept of, like, paying people to stay at the house. I'm curious what $10,000 would be today. Very cool. Very spooky. This, like, breaking of the fourth wall, you know, voiceover, setting up the whole story, introducing everybody. It feels like a novel. I don't know if this was based on a book. Comment below and let me know, but that's what it feels like. That's an interesting theme for a birthday party, that's for sure. Is this an actual house? Like, they showed a few shots of the exterior. Comment below, is this, yeah, an existing house? Did they make this a set just for the movie? I love this font as well. So cool.
I've never met him.
I work for one of his companies, but I've never seen him.
I've never met the man either.
So people, like, applied to be in this party? Or he just randomly selected people?
I think so far.
A $50,000 party for only 5 people is a little steep, even for a millionaire.
Okay, so none of them know Frederick?
Haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
As the door slams. Woo, spooky. The ghost.
This thing's made of solid steel.
Oh, God. Cheese and rice. Hello, Frederick. I love practical effects, and given the time of the movie, I'm assuming every effect in this will be practical, so I'm very excited to see what they come up with. It also terrifies me, because I'm like, what if that chandelier actually fell on her? It was a real chandelier? Oh, man.
Guests are here, unfortunately still alive. Is your face on yet?
He's hoping his guests would be dead.
Friends? Do we have any friends?
No, your jealousy took care of that.
Oh, my.
One thing, they all need money. Now let's see if they're brave enough to earn it.
This is getting very Squid Games.
Call this a party?
Could be.
I should spend a birthday party with randoms.
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Make a good headline. Playboy kills wife with champagne cork.
Is that what happened to his other wives?
Your trust is so touching.
Yeah, I didn't recognize any of the other cast members.
Dollars and tax-free. You want it all, don't you?
I deserve it all.
Good to know why she's with him.
But can't prove them.
The time will come. You'll slip up one of these days.
He thinks she's cheating on him?
Agree with it, wouldn't you?
Darling, what makes you think that?
Something about you.
The fact that she's only after you for your money?
That hanging is very uncomfortable, in case you get any more ideas.
Oh my, these two have an interesting relationship.
Sit up all night, thinking of ways to get rid of me. It makes wrinkles.
These two. Oh my. She's not even going to her own party?
Her husband and her sister. No one else was here.
So there are two loose heads just floating around in here somewhere?
Ugh, gross.
Locked. There's no way out. The windows have bars that a jail would be proud of.
So they're literally going to be locked in.
Phone. No one within miles. So, no way to call for help.
Sounds like a horrible idea.
This is genuine ghosts.
7 now. Maybe more before morning.
Foreshadowing? Oh.
Very well, Mr. Loren. 4 of us are men, 3 are women. A ghost for everybody.
I don't like those odds. Those aren't good.
He's on a tour through the house, and let's see what happens. Huh?
An interesting concept that he's not only inviting people over to stay in this haunted house, but that he fully believes in these ghosts and is cashing in on them.
Carol was killed here. And whatever got her wasn't human. Don't stand there.
What do you mean? Where?
Oh, God, it's dripping on her. Ew.
Cellar. There's been a murder almost every place in this house.
Seems like a great place to spend the evening. And that. Of course, they go into the creepy cellar.
Was any good? So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in.
He filled the vat with acid? Oh my God.
Murders here were just ordinary. Just shooting or stabbing.
They all seem pretty gruesome.
My, it's dry and dusty down here.
They are standing awfully close to that acid pit. Oh my God, that's horrifying.
Does it go anywhere?
Oh, shoot. The ghost got him now. Oh my God, what is this?
Did she say Lance is gone? Gone where?
I was wondering how they were going to portray the ghost. It looks like a human. They're not going for like the low opacity, like wispy kind of character.
I'm gonna knock on the other wall. When you hear me, you knock on this wall.
Yeah, is there like something between the walls of the house? It definitely sounded different. Yeah, there's more of an echo. Oh God, it's the ghost. Oh my God, that's terrifying. Whoa, just floating along. Oh my God.
Just met him tonight.
So? Why you?
And this like ghost whispering soundtrack.
I hope for your sake you never find out.
So creepy. Oh my gosh. And such a really cool premise for a movie too.
If I need help, may I count on you?
Oh my. Not your husband?
The first simply disappeared. The other 2 died.
Suspicious circumstances? Oh.
Would he hurt you?
He would kill me if he could.
But by now it would be far too suspicious if a 4th wife goes. Yeah, Lance doesn't believe there's any ghosts here, but Annabelle's warning everybody, like, I think my husband's up to something, be careful.
Nora Manning was almost killed by a falling chandelier. The pilot bashed his head in.
He seems way too excited about those things.
And you are going.
I am not.
You ready?
Oh, God.
Then your party will really begin. I wonder how it'll end.
He definitely seems to, like, enjoy violence, and I don't think anybody's making it out alive at this point, to be honest.
All right, Mr. Loren. I'll be right down.
There does seem to be... Oh, my God! That's one of the heads! Oh, my God! Oh, that's so gross. Ew, yeah, he said they've been killed, but their heads were missing. Someone found them. Yeah, they're doing a good job making the house seem endless. There's doors everywhere and doors that seem to just like so many closets and storage areas. And they never found what that, like if there's a space between those 2 rooms downstairs. Oh, look out!
Come with us. Come with us before he kills you.
Come with me if you want to live. Who's this? Who's this? She thinks it's a ghost? Maybe he's a ghost? We know she's a ghost.
They've been caretakers here for years. She's blind, you know.
Oh. I thought they were ghosts, for sure.
Because there'll be no way to get out.
I don't want to stay.
Wait.
Yeah, it's interesting how the group gets more money if people die. So instead of 10,000, they'd get like 12 or 15. Well, caretakers are gone, so...
In now.
But I don't want to stay.
And I'm sorry, my dear, but it's too late now.
I don't think he was ever really going to let them leave.
Haven't you had enough of the silly game?
But we have some party favors for you in these little coffins.
Oh my god, that's so creepy. Oh my god, what's going to be in there? I'm terrified.
Yeah,
A gun?
I think it's rather dangerous. All right,
He's giving them all guns?
you see they're loaded.
He's giving them all guns inside of a coffin.
Dead, only the living.
That's what he's hoping for, I think.
Here's yours, dear.
I don't need it.
It was your idea. Who knows, you may want
Was it?
me before this night is over.
I think that's foreshadowing.
Total darkness.
Oh, I'm sure we're not going to go running around the house shooting each other, aren't you?
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Would you all like to see one of those heads? Well, then, just follow me.
It's not going to be there. They're going to think she's, like, losing it. Oh, man. I'm really enjoying it so far.
I really don't need this.
And yeah, Frederick, Vincent Price is amazing as this like madman, you know, seems like he's got an insane amount of money and is just doing whatever he wants with it.
Just get out of here!
And yeah, since she's the only one seeing things, they're gonna think she's lost it. I fully believe he has no intention of letting anybody go. I thought, you know, as soon as they got there, he's not gonna let them go no matter what. He has this evil plan. Oh my god! There's another head! Oh, in the closet! Well, now you're seeing it now, at least. That's terrifying, just hanging by its hair. Ugh.
There's nothing you can do about it.
It just leaves the head on the table. Oh my god, Nora! What? Oh my gosh! The ghosts, like, convince her to kill herself?
She's dead, Mr. Loren.
Oh my god.
Your wife hanged herself.
Oh, it's his wife. Why would she? What? What? And these, like, following shots of him walking down the hallway.
You thought I was dead,
Who?
Mr. Loren.
Yes, he's just killing people.
Are you sure about this?
And he killed his wife, too, and made it look like suicide. I have seen the Netflix show, The Haunting of Hill House, which I thought was based off of a Shirley Jackson novel, but in that show there's also ghosts that convince people to unalive themselves. So yeah, I'm curious if there's even ghosts in this house, if he's just going off the premise that it's haunted as an excuse to kill people, basically.
So cold.
He's obviously very torn up about this. Oh god, oh, he's choking people again.
Get out, you sot, and don't come back into this room again.
Yeah, Watson's the only one who seems very convinced that there is ghosts. Frederick's mentioned it, but again, I don't know how much he actually believes in them.
She was murdered by one of you.
By you, I think. Dun, 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 dun. He obviously seems very heartbroken over the death of his wife. Yeah, exactly. It's you, bud. Okay, yeah, so they all agree that Mrs. Loren was killed, at least. Like, it was murder, and now they're like, okay, well, nobody's saying anything, but one of us obviously did it, so she's gonna wait it out till morning and then call the police, but I don't feel like that's the end of this story. Yeah, just like eyeing everybody up suspiciously, like, was it you? How would you be able to get her up there? You know, was it two of them working together? Oh god, there's that blood dripping again! Oh no! The bars in the window definitely seem excessive. And that he didn't tell them he'd be locking them in. Oh, secret door. Oh, that was horrible. Bye! Oh, you're trapped now! Bye, Lance. Who's trying to get in? What? This rope just appears out of our window? Oh my. What are you doing, Nora? Move! Get out of there! That's so cool. They'll just have the rope wrapping itself around her. Oh my gosh. It's gonna pull you out the window. Oh, it's Annabelle! This is legitimately scary. Like, this would be so spooky if you would have seen this when it came out. Oh, God. What is this? What is this hand? What creature was that? Like a werewolf? What are we doing? And now Miss Loren somehow, like, unalived herself again? Piano's gonna start playing on its own. Yeah, there we go.
It's almost over, darling.
What?
Every detail was perfect.
What? She's alive? What? 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 And this doctor's been in on it the whole time? What?
We've done it. A perfect crime. Beautiful.
What's your perfect crime?
But she will.
Get me out of this hanging harness.
Oh my God, terrifying.
Began to work just as we had planned. You were wonderful. Just the touch that finally drove her into complete hysteria.
Poor Nora.
An hysterical girl accidentally shoots somebody? Who would suspect that we planned it that way, that we drove her to it?
That's insane. Oh my God. These two.
Actor in the cellar, not me. And now Nora's almost out of her mind with fear. The heads, the music, you're hanging.
They planned the whole thing?
It's taking too long. David, you ought to be there.
Oh my. So David attacked Nora. Nora thought it was Mr. Loren, obviously. Now she's scared out of her mind.
Come down to the cellar.
They've been setting up to kill her husband this whole time so that she could get the money and be this widow that she wants. Oh my God, the twists. Poor Nora. She's innocent in all of this. They just scared the heck out of her. And now she's gonna shoot somebody. Yeah, the lighting in this has been really cool with the candles and the lightning and like the way that they've lit their faces and everything. So cool. And it's just like accentuated in black and white as well.
No!
Oh, God! Oh, Nora, you did it. You shot him right in the heart. Turns out you were just a bit of a controlling freak, but not a murderer. What is this? Oh, he's gonna put him in the acid so that it completely disappears. There's nothing left of his body. Oh my God! I don't want to feel bad for Frederick. He's been rude to his wife most of this movie, but he was also just shot. Bye, Frederick. Yeah, and there's a skeleton. Oh my God. Rising from the acid on its own. Oh my God, you're screwed now, Annabelle. So creepy. And just like the juxtaposition of like this all white skeleton and this black background as well.
But you're not going to live to enjoy it. Come with me, murderess.
You're in trouble now. So creepy. Could you imagine? The skeleton of the husband you just had killed is now walking towards you from his acid bath. No, thank you. You're gonna fall in. Boop. Oh, bye, Annabelle. Saw that coming. Yep. Well, you had him killed and then he killed you, so... Cheese and rice. So creepy. What? 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 Frederick's alive? We saw him get shot! I thought the wires and the skeleton were just, 1959, effects.
I didn't know when you started your game of murder that I was playing too.
Apparently so. So he killed David, I'm guessing? Oh my god! Made this weird skeleton kite.
Lance! I've shot Mr. Loren. He's down in the wine cellar.
Yeah, wasn't he shot? Like, what happened? There are blanks in the gun?
You didn't shoot anyone, my dear. I loaded your gun with blanks.
There we go, okay.
I'm ready for justice to decide if I'm innocent or guilty.
He's very calm about this, obviously. Oh my god, this movie's insane! I love it! Honestly, I thought the body count would be higher. Turns out it's not ghosts at all.
And then they'll come for you.
Oh my god! Yeah, and that's how we started the movie, with that POV shot of the door opening and walking inside. The end. Skeleton by himself. It's always good to, credit the smaller roles. So that was my first time watching House on Haunted Hill, the 1959 film starring Vincent Price. I really enjoyed his performance. I've only seen a few of his films, but they just keep getting better and better. I think I like this more than House of Wax. It was just so well done, such a cool premise, and I didn't recognize any of the other cast members, but I really enjoyed their performances as well. So comment below, what would I know them from? I didn't see a book or like a source material or anything listed, so is this an original screenplay? It did list a writer, but I don't know if this was based on a book. This did remind me of a newer TV show called Haunting on Hill House, which I believe was based off a Shirley Jackson novel. Haunted house seems to be the only common element. I really enjoyed that series, and it's very possible it was influenced by this movie, as this movie came out a while ago. And it also reminded me a little bit of a Chuck Palahniuk book called Haunted, where this writer locks everybody in and forces them to do horrible things, basically. So that was only the comparison, was people being locked in and not being able to escape, and someone in charge of the whole thing. But if you've read that book, it is deeply disturbing. I loved everything about this movie. How we start with that black screen and we hear screams in the background, and it's kind of disorientating, where you're like, okay, what's going on, who's screaming, what's happening here? And then having those floating heads come towards camera, and first we have Watson come up and he gives his story, and then we have Frederick come up and give his story as well, and kind of sets the tone for the movie. And I find that's common in older movies as well. They kind of here's the story, here's what's gonna happen, and they lay it out. Also, so many twists at the end, as we saw, so just a really cool idea, and I haven't really seen anything like this. And like I said, the few things that reminded me of this, I'm sure were influenced by this in some way or another. The concept of having this party and bringing all these people over and paying them all this money to see if they could withstand the night at this haunted house. But then we didn't even see any ghosts. Nora's the only one who sees the ghosts, but then they turn out to be the caretakers, and she just sees the lights flickering, but she seems to be the only one who's affected by this. Lance does find that head in the closet, and that was super creepy. And we also see that furry arm come around and try and attack Nora. So I don't know if that was a werewolf. So I don't know if that was another one of David's gimmicks and pranks to try and scare people, so that Nora would become even more hysterical. And the fact that you just see the arm, you're like, okay, maybe it's just a person wearing some kind of costume on their arm or something. They just did a really clever job of letting the audience believe that, okay, this lady in the cellar is a ghost. Oh no, she's not, she's the caretaker and she's blind, and having her float across the room like that. Just so creepy and so well done. And having the doors close on their own and that chandelier fall, and maybe there are no ghosts at the house at all. Who knows? I think it's one of the interesting things about this movie is is it actually haunted? Are things just happening because it's an old house? Are things happening because your imagination is playing tricks on you? So even when Nora was talking to Lance, he's like, you know what, sometimes I've seen things that weren't actually there. So really interesting concept. When I thought the caretakers were the ghosts, I was like, I like that they're giving them more of a human form, and then we find out that they are in fact human. But I like the fact that if there were ghosts, if you want to believe that the house is haunted and there are ghosts there, that they didn't show them. They just kind of like left it open for interpretation, and that you're wondering, okay, is it all in Nora's mind? She's the only one who was really seeing them. So yeah, such an interesting concept. I think just a really great example of the power of storytelling, and you know, again, like one location, small cast, short timeline, like basically everything happens, you know, over a 24-hour period, even less, maybe like a 12-hour period, just really focusing on story, and nobody leaves the house once they get there. Basically, we're assuming it's morning and that everybody leaves and gets paid. And it was a relatively short movie, just over an hour, but again, I didn't feel bored by it. It was entertaining throughout, and even with one location and, you know, the different rooms and just the same house and the small cast, but they just did such a good job of telling the story and focusing on, you know, all these scare tactics and all these twists and turns that you just wanted to keep watching and find out what was going to happen. I know there is a remake. I haven't seen it, but comment below if you think I should watch it. And I'm curious if there's any sequels or anything. I know this came out a while ago. This legitimately felt like a scary movie. Like, I feel like if you would have seen this right when it came out or saw it in theaters, it would have been terrifying. So many like spooky elements involved. The fact that it gives everybody guns and coffin boxes and has them arrive in funeral cars. And he's like, oh, that was my wife's idea. I'm like, okay, was it yours? At first, it definitely feels like Frederick is just using his wife's party as an excuse to do this, and they definitely did a good job of setting it up like Frederick was the bad guy, which obviously I also believed. And then we see that twist where we find out that Annabelle and David are together and they're actually plotting to kill off Frederick, but then Frederick also kills them. So I'm like, okay, well, you're trying to kill each other either way. I didn't think anybody was getting out alive. I thought the body count was going to be much higher. I didn't think he was actually intent on paying anybody. I didn't think once they walked in that they were, you know, leaving. He's giving them the option to leave, but I don't feel like he's actually gonna, you know, go through with that. And even when they leave before midnight, he's like, oh, time's up, you had your chance, sorry, they're left now, it's too late, bye. Because originally Nora wants to leave, she's like, I want to get out of here, but of course it's too late, and there's all these bars on the windows as well, so she's just trapped and locked into this house. It doesn't sound like Frederick mentioned that part. He's like, you just have to spend the night, and maybe part of the reason why they came was they felt like they could leave, you know, if they wanted to, not once you show up, you're stuck here. I loved the set of the house, so cool. It felt endless. All these like hidden doors and hidden passageways, and how Lance gets trapped behind this wall basically. And even when we have, you know, Nora and Lance knocking on different sides of the wall, it felt like there was something in between. Like it didn't feel like a solid wall behind it. We didn't get to see what that was, but just really played into the element of this house being a character, and just, you know, if you walk down the wrong hallway, what's gonna happen? And that cellar obviously was a big part of this movie. But comment below, is that house real? Does it exist? Maybe not in the capacity as shown in this movie, but they showed some exterior shots. So yeah, is this an actual house, or did they make it up entirely for the movie? Lighting is important in every movie, but I think in black and white it plays an especially important role because it's such a contrast to, you know, the white and the dark that you're shown on screen. There's no color to bounce off of, and especially in horror movies, you want to create that sense of, you know, suspense and terror, and they have like the lightning crashing outside, and as soon as the lightning hits, it flashes on Nora's face, and then only briefly, and she's back in the dark. And the use of candles, and how the candles would just turn themselves off or turn themselves on. So creepy. Yeah, I love practical effects, so I was very excited to see that stuff as well. I thought the props were really cool. We see that head just hanging out in Nora's suitcase, and it didn't look terrible when we had like a closer shot when Lance is carrying it, you know, down to show Watson. I was like, okay, you can kind of see like the eyes looked a little bit off, but it didn't take me out of the experience. It was still just super creepy and super gross that he's, you know, carrying around this head basically, and he's like, look what I found, and holding it by the hair. And if there is ghosts in the house, I'm assuming they're the ones who put this floating head in the closet, unless it was David, you know, trying to scare Nora again. But then where did he get that head from? And just playing into the concept of, are there ghosts here? Is David just orchestrating this whole thing to, you know, fuel everybody's already, you know, skepticism and, you know, the belief in ghosts, that the fact that this is a haunted house, and obviously Nora becomes, you know, the unwilling pawn in all of this as she is set up to shoot and what she thinks she's killed Frederick. I don't know what the budget for this this was, but I feel like they spent it wisely, and any effects we did see on camera were done well, and even the stuff that happens off camera just added more mystery, because you're like, okay, well, why was Lance locked in the room? Who hit him over the head? Nora's saying somebody strangled her, but it's dark, but she can't see who it was, and she thinks it's Frederick, and then that fuels more suspicion against him. The piano's playing on its own, like, what's going on? All the doors opening and closing, like, I feel like those are things you can do well for a relatively small budget, but still add a lot of mystery and suspense to a movie, especially movies about ghosts. Like, you don't have to show ghosts necessarily, they can be something unseen. And just the concept of them coming to the house with the expectation that they're going to have to survive an evening, battling these crazy ghosts and all these people who have died in really horrific ways in this building, and it ends up being the people that they need to be afraid of, because the ghosts didn't actually kill anybody. It was the people, as we saw, obviously Annabelle tried to kill Frederick, and then Frederick ends up killing Annabelle and David. And even when we think Annabelle is dead, Frederick doesn't seem heartbroken. He's not distraught. He just carries on. He doesn't shed a tear. And I was like, okay, that's making you look more suspicious. But obviously in his mind, he's thinking that she's fine and that she's trying to kill him. So I don't think he fully believed that she was in fact dead. They all come to the senses that there's a murderer among them, and then they, kind of go to their separate rooms, and just very suspicious. This like murder mystery concept of, is the person next to you a killer? How do you find out? You just wait till morning. And I thought they did a great job of setting it up so that everybody believes Frederick, is this evil guy. We see him be, rude and aggressive towards his wife, and, he's orchestrating this whole thing and seems very excited when bad things happen to people, and you're like, okay, something's not right here. That scene where they're walking down the hallway and everybody's going to their separate bedrooms one by one, and then they get down to David and Frederick, and I was like, oh, in my head I'm thinking, David, you better get in, you're alone with this guy, like you're the last one. But in reality it was Frederick who should have been afraid, because David and Annabelle were having this affair, and we're already suspicious of Frederick, considering this is his fourth wife, and the first one mysteriously disappeared and the other two died of heart attacks when they were in their 20s. So it's possible, but just not likely. So I wouldn't want to be wife number 5, that's for sure. And I don't know how he's going to explain this situation. He walks up the stairs and says, like, time for people to figure out, whether I'm innocent or guilty. Like, was this self-defense, or was I, set out to kill them? I can't imagine how terrifying it would have been to see that skeleton rise from the water or the vat of acid in the theater, and just like see it slowly coming towards Annabelle and getting closer and closer. Like, she thinks Frederick is dead, and she hears his voice, and like, what's happening? How is he still talking? How is he alive? And just that shot when he like boop, like touches her on the shoulder, and she just panics. And I couldn't imagine how scary that would be. That would just be like, how do you explain it? You can't explain it. It makes no sense. You could see the strings on the skeleton, and I was like, okay, like it was 1959. I'm not going to hold this against them. I was just so cool. They had the skeleton. I was more focused on that Frederick skeleton was now coming back to life somehow. So it didn't take it out of the experience. I'm definitely not going to hold that against them. It still was freaking scary. And then obviously when we see Frederick the human come out of the closet, and he's got this like skeleton kite contraption, whatever that was super cool. And then obviously the strings make more sense because it was attached to this giant contraption, and Annabelle just slowly walking backwards, and as the skeleton's it's not touching her, but it's slowly coming towards her, and out of fear she's trying to move away from it, and then steps one too many times and slips and falls into the acid, and that's the end of it. So oh my god, so cool. And obviously with the way that they edit it and cut it together, we assumed that Frederick was shot because we saw Nora shoot him, and that David put him in the acid, because the way they had that frame, it was just the two of them in there, and then we cut away and your brain just assumes that Frederick's dead and David would put him in there, but that's not what happened, obviously. But just so cool the way that they leave those twists right to the last second, and we find out that Frederick was fine and was able to, take out David. I was kind of expecting the guests to turn on each other more, especially once they're all handed guns, and we find out that the money increases per person if people are killed off. So it's like, okay, if there's 5 of you now, you know, you each get 10 grand. And if there's 4 of you, you know, that pot will increase. You'll each get 12 or 15 or whatever it would be. So it's like, maybe they're just going to start shooting each other and whoever's left will walk out with the 50 grand total. But the only guest that died was in fact David. And even when Frederick is explaining, he's like, you know what, I invited them all here for a reason. He clearly knew that David and his wife were having an affair and invited him over. And I feel like he invited the other 4 guests to mostly be witnesses and to kind of explain the situation. And they're all very different backgrounds. So he's like, okay, I can't, you know, invite 4 of my closest friends, because then if they vouch for me, they'll just think, oh, they're just saying that because you're your friends, it needed to be strangers so that they would seem more credible. And the fact that Annabelle was willing to go to such lengths to, you know, trick her husband, and she's got this hanging harness and she pretends to unalive herself. And as soon as you could see where she was hanging, this wouldn't be a one-person operation, like somebody would have had to help her with this. So that was pretty suspicious, but that was their plan. They wanted to raise suspicions that somebody had killed Annabelle. And who would be the first subject? You know, it's always the husband. So that just added more suspicion onto Frederick, when it was in fact David and Annabelle working together. And then when we see Annabelle floating outside the window, oh my god, during that lightning storm, and the rope comes in, and maybe it was stop motion, I'm not too sure what effect they would have used to have that rope, you know, turn around Nora's feet all by itself, and it looked like it was gonna, you know, pull Nora out the window and unalive her as well. So creepy. I couldn't imagine looking out your window and seeing what you think is somebody who just died, you know, hours ago, is now floating outside your window. Ugh. I really loved Vincent Price's performance. I thought he was great as Frederick, you know, this eccentric, very wealthy guy who seems to have an interest in ghosts and kind of some spooky things, and using his money to basically get people to come over and be witnesses for him, and using his money to do basically whatever he wants. And again, that fuels into, you know, thinking that, okay, he could get away with this. He has enough money. He could do whatever he wants. He doesn't seem to be concerned, so he has the power and money to kill his wife if he wants to. Overall, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, probably one of my favorite horror movies that I've seen so far. It wasn't super gory or anything like that, but it's still just such a cool story, and I love all the twists and turns, and the performances were amazing, and such an interesting story. Like I said, I don't think I've seen anything like this, where not only do they believe in ghosts right away, but that's the whole premise of the movie. They're like, come over, the house is haunted, see if you can last the night. And then obviously we find out what's going on, this creepy whispering screams in the background, and how we even started with that black screen and just screaming. I love their use of practical effects. They were subtle but still really well done. And you know, the most graphic thing we saw basically was him hanging that head in the closet, and you know, running downstairs to Watson holding this head. Of course, the creepy basement has to play a big part, and this vat of acid, you know, that doesn't even have anything to do with the ghosts, and this concept of, you know, maybe there is no ghost, or is it just David playing tricks on anybody? I still don't know where that furry hand thing came from, and I'm very glad Nora's gonna get her $10,000, and maybe she can pay for some PTSD therapy or something after this, because she was put through the ringer more than anybody. Just such a cool movie, so well done. I really enjoyed it. Comment below. I'm assuming this would have done well at the box office. I'm not too sure, but yeah, comment below and let me know. I'm so glad I got to see more of Vincent Price's work. It's just amazing. He's so talented. I'm really enjoying his films. But thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. So he's paying people to spend the night at this haunted house. That's an interesting theme for a birthday party, that's for sure. He filled the vat with acid? He's giving them all guns inside of a coffin. That's terrifying, just hanging by its hair. Oh god, there's that blood dripping again. The bars in the window definitely seem excessive. What's your perfect crime? Made this weird skeleton kite?